Hello class 8, I am Hemlata Verma and I welcome you all in today's session of civics. In this video, we will deal with the second part of the chapter, the judiciary. I have already made the first part of the video of this chapter in which we have dealt the composition of Supreme Court and the High Court and state the qualification and appointments of judges to the Supreme Court and High Court. We have studied about the powers and functions of the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. We have also discussed the concept of judicial review and court of record. In today's video, we will understand the meaning of writ, the difference between the writ petition. We will also learn about the fundamental rights. We will learn about the subordinate courts and we will understand about the Lok Adalat. Before starting about the writ petition, we will first understand about the fundamental rights. The fundamental rights are the rights which are given by the Constitution to the citizens of India. The Constitution offers to all the citizens of India the fundamental right. There are some basic rights which are essential for the intellectual, moral and spiritual development of citizens. There are 6 basic fundamental rights. They are the right to equality, the right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right, and right to constitutional remedies. Now let us learn about one by one. The right to equality. The right to equality includes equality before the law. It provides us from the prohibition of discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, gender or place of birth. Now, what is right to freedom? Right to freedom includes freedom to speech and expression and right to practice any profession or occupation. Right against exploitation. Right against exploitation prohibits all forms of forced labor, child labor and trafficking of human beings. The right to freedom of religion. It includes freedom to practice and propagate any religion and freedom to manage religious affairs. Cultural and educational rights. It prevents the right of any section of citizen to conserve their culture, language and scripts. Now let us understand what is right to constitutional remedies. Now before we study about the writs, it is important to understand the rights of constitutional remedies because this right only refers to the writs which we are going to study after this. The right to constitutional remedy is there for the enforcement of fundamental rights. These rights empowers the citizens to move to the court of law in case of any denial of fundamental right. And see, thus we go to fill a writ petition in the High Court or Supreme Court depending upon the nature of the writ. Writ means order. Who gives the order? The Supreme Court or the High Court gives the order. The Constitution of India empowers the Supreme Court and the High Court to issue writ for the enforcement of fundamental rights under Article 32 and Article 226. So, when do we file a writ petition? We file a writ petition when our fundamental right is violated. What is the remedy if our fundamental right is violated? The remedy is writ petition. We file a writ petition in the High Court or the Supreme Court. Basically, there are 5 types of writs: habeas corpus, the writ of mandamus, writ of prohibition, writ of certiorari, and writ of quo warranto. These all are Latin words. Now, let us understand about the writs one by one. Now, let us understand the writ of habeas corpus. The literal meaning of habeas corpus means to have the body. A person, when arrested, can move to the court for the issue of habeas corpus. It is an order by the court to the detaining authority to produce the arrested person before it, so that it may examine whether the person has been detained lawfully or not. If the court is convinced that the person is illegally detained, he can issue orders for his release. For example, if a person is arrested by the police have to do some official entry, and the arrested person has to be produced in front of the magistrate within 24 hours. No one can be arrested without any information to anyone. If so, it is illegal. Example, if any policeman has arrested a person due to some personal grievances or rivalry without giving any information to anyone, either his family or friend, it is illegal. In that case, the fundamental right is violated. The person can, so now the arrested person, the person who has been arrested, he can anyhow inform the High Court by a letter or a postcard. The court will consider that postcard or the letter as the writ petition. If the arrested person is unable to file a writ petition, his relative or friend can also file the writ petition in his behalf. Then the court will give the orders to produce the person before the court. By issuing such a writ, the court can get the body of any person released if it has been unlawfully captured by any person or a group of persons or by the state. The writ is thus a great safeguard for the personal freedom of a citizen. Thus, we see that the habeas corpus is one of the most important writs for personal liberty. This writ provides immediate relief in case of unlawful detention. Writ of habeas corpus is issued if an individual is kept in jail or under a private care without any authority of law. The criminal who is convinced has the right to seek the assistance of the court by filling an application for writ of habeas corpus if he believes that he has been wrongfully imprisoned. Thus, habeas corpus is a resource in law through which a person can report an unlawful detention or imprisonment to the court, and request the court to order the custodian of the person, usually a prison officer, to bring the prisoner to the court. Sometimes it happens that after the completion of imprisonment, the prisoner is not released. Thus, he can give the writ petition to the court against the prison officials. Now, let us understand the writ of prohibition. Such a type of writ is an order from the superior courts. The superior courts may be the Supreme Court or the High Court, to an inferior court to stop proceedings in case which it, in the opinion of the higher courts, might be contempting to do the excess of its jurisdiction. Means, if the court is doing the work which is not in its jurisdiction, then the Supreme Court or the High Court can stop the proceeding in this case. Writ of prohibition means to forbid or to stop, and it is popularly known as stay order. This writ is issued when the lower court or a body tries to transgress the limit or to cross the limits or powers vested in it. It is a writ issued by the superior court to the lower court or the tribunal, forbidding it to perform an act outside its jurisdiction. After the issue of this writ, proceedings in the lower court etc. comes to a stop. Now, let us understand the writ of certiorari. This writ is issued by a superior court to a judicial authorities in order to quash or cancel its order or decision. If the judgment is illegal, such judgment is cancelled by the superior courts. So, we see that literally certiorari means to be satisfied, certified. The writ of certiorari is issued by the Supreme Court to some inferior courts or tribunals to transfer the matter to it or to some other superior authority for proper consideration. Now, let us understand the writ of mandamus. It literally means we command. This writ is generally petitioned against the government servant or organizations. This writ is thus a sort of command from the superior courts, that is the Supreme Court or the High Court, to the subordinate courts or an administrative authority in case they refuse to exercise their jurisdiction and fail to perform their duty. This writ can also be issued against inferior courts or other judicial bodies when they refuse to perform their duties. Thus, we see that the mandamus is a Latin word which means we command. Mandamus is an order from the superior courts to the lower court or tribunal or public authority to perform an act which falls within its duty. Simply, it is a writ issued to the public official to do a thing which is the part of his official duty, but which he fails to do. Now, we will understand about the fifth writ, which is the quo warranto. The word quo warranto literally means on what authority one is holding a public office. It is a writ issued with a view to restraining a person from acting in a public office to which he is not entitled. Suppose a person gets a job or a promotion to which he is not eligible. So, a writ of quo warranto petition can be given against it. Such a type of writ is issued by the court to the public servant to inquire into the legality of his holding to public office if his claim is not well found. Then this writ prevents the unlawful claimant for holding a superior public office. Thus, we see that the Constitution of India empowers the Supreme Court and the High Court to issue writs for the enforcement of the fundamental rights. The judicial system of India is like a pyramid. At the apex of the pyramid, there is Supreme Court. Next to it are the high courts of the state level, and at the lower level there is district court, which is also known as the subordinate courts. Now we will study about the subordinate courts. The courts at the district level and below it are known as subordinate courts. The administration of the justice is conducted by two types of courts, civil courts and criminal courts. The civil courts are those which decides cases pending to money, contracts, laws, etc. When the district judge deals with the criminal cases, he is known as the session judge. So, we see that the subordinate courts are under the control of high courts. All courts at the district level and below are known as subordinate courts. The three types of courts are subordinate courts are the civil courts, the criminal courts and the revenue courts. Now, this is important. The judges appointed by the governor in consultation with the high court. So, the judges of the subordinate courts are appointed by the governor with the consultation of the high court. Now, let us see the flow chart of the subordinate court. Session court. This court deals with the criminal issues, criminal cases. The criminal cases may be the case of murder or theft or physical injury. So, all these comes under the session court. The session court is also having some court in it. So, the highest is the session judge court. The next is the additional session judge court. The next is the first class magistrate court, and then is the second class magistrate court. So, in the subordinate court, in the session court side, the lowest court is the second class magistrate court and the highest is the session judge court. Similarly, in the civil matters also, there is district judge court, additional district judges court, sub judges court, munsif court and tehsildars court. Okay. So, this is the highest court in the civil matters in subordinate court, and this is the lowest one. There is one more court called the consumers court. Consumer court have also been set up in our country. These court deals with customer complaints. The customers does not need to hire a lawyer. he or she can present the case. A normal fees is charged for such cases. A consumer court is a judicial body set up by the Government of India to protect the right of the consumers. It is a special purpose court which deals with dispute and grievances regarding customers and sellers. If a customer is exploited by any seller, he can file a case against the seller on his own and does not require a lawyer to fight his case for him. The customer is also not required to pay any court fees apart from the nominal fees depending on the type of court and the claim amount. Now we will study about Lok Adalat. Lok Adalat means the people's court. The Lok Adalat is a voluntary forum which settles dispute between the conflicting groups. These Lok Adalats have proved very effective in providing speedy justice to people. They provide justice without much expenditure. The first Lok Adalat was organized at Gujarat in October 1982. The work of Lok Adalat is managed by retired judicial officials. Free legal aids is given to people who cannot afford to engage lawyers. Those entitled to free legal aid include people belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, women and children. Thus we see that Lok Adalat is a system of alternative dispute resolution developed in India. It roughly means people's court. The system of Lok Adalat is based on the principle of Panch Parameshwar of Gram Panchayat, which were also proposed by Mahatma Gandhi. The idea of Lok Adalat was mainly advocated by Justice P. N. Bhagwati, the former Chief Justice of India. They are held periodically for exercising such jurisdiction as they determine. The first Lok Adalat was held on March 14, 1982 in Gujarat. Lok Adalat is the most up-to-date and cheap method of providing justice at people's doorstep. People feel a sense of relief and calm. People have no grievance even if the decision of the Lok Adalat is not favorable to them, since Lok Adalat is free from prejudice, bias and revenge. Thus we see that courts are needed to interpret or explain the meaning of laws, to give punishment to the lawbreakers and to settle legal disputes and give justice. Justice means insaf dena. To whom does it give the justice? To the innocent person. If someone has stolen my property, I go to the court and I get justice and the accused is punished. Cases concerning property, contracts, damage claim, etc. are called civil cases. Even marriage and divorce cases comes under the civil cases. Cases relating to murder, theft, robbery, violence, etc. comes under criminal cases. When a crime takes place, a crime is done, it comes under the criminal cases. The judges of the Supreme Court are appointed by the President in consultation with the Chief Justice of Supreme Court. In order to be the judge of the Supreme Court, a person must meet the requirements. He must be the citizen of India. he should either be a distinct justice or he should have been a High Court judge for at least 5 years, or he should have been an advocate of the High Court for at least 10 years. The Constitution provides for the establishment of high courts in different states. There may be a common high court for 2 or more states. The judges of the High Court are appointed by the President after consulting the Chief Justice of the concerned High Court, that of the Supreme Court, and the Governor. For being the judge of the High Court, one should be the citizen of India. He should have worked as the judge in any court in India for not less than 10 years, or he should have worked as an advocate in the High Court or High Courts in India continuously for 10 years, or he should be a renowned scholar in the field of law. The courts at the district level are called as subordinate courts. There are 2 types of subordinate courts, civil and criminal. Now we will see to the chapter at a glance. We have studied about the judiciary. The judiciary, there is a Supreme Court at the highest level, then we have the High Court, and then we have the subordinate court. Now the Supreme Court hears the cases from all over the country. The Chief Justice of India supervises working of the Supreme Court. Chief Justice appoints the President. Functions of Supreme Court are judicial, administrative, and advisory. Now let us see about the High Court. High Court hears cases from all over the state. Chief Justice of the court supervises the functioning of the High Court of that state. Chief Justice are appointed by President after consultation with the Chief Justice of Supreme Court and Governor of the state. Subordinate courts. District Judge, Session Judge hears cases from all over the district. ADJ, First Class Magistrate, Second Class Magistrate deals with the civil and criminal cases. Now this is all in this chapter. See you in the next chapter. Till then, goodbye. Take care.